Welcome back to Just Some Perspective podcast. This is your host, Mosh Raman. It's good to have you back. So, we're heading towards the end of the year. It is late October, and Texas is finally cooling down. Temps are finally cooling down, and just got back from the office in my still professional attire. I thought I'd dedicate this episode to just discussing some professional advice for the younger generation and younger workers and people who want to go into the corporate world and the corporate life. Okay. Um, this will be an ongoing discussion, ongoing series, and was just in a big meeting today with my team. I work in tech, and right now in tech and e-commerce for a major client that is based in Europe, and so I've been in tech analysis and e-com, well, tech analysis for most of my career, over 12 plus years. Okay, and I also have a good idea. I've learned a lot about just in the corporate world in general, how it's a lot of games there, and how we evolve through our career and the things we pick up and what is really like. So I thought I'd share some of that with you guys. So starting off is meetings, right? Meetings are 100% part of working in corporate. There's almost no avoiding them, maybe in some special cases. But if you're going to be in an office, just be prepared to be in meetings, and especially meetings that you don't care about, not interested in, could care less about. Um, you know what I'm saying? So that is just part of being on teams and being in corporate offices and of any background. So whether you're in tech like myself, whether you're in HR, whether you're in marketing, finance, whatever department, what have you, you're going to be in meetings, and most of them will not be fun. Most of them will not really be engaging, and I got some tips on how you can overcome that, right? So, um, so number one is you'll be in meetings with different people, okay, and they're all going to be considered probably stakeholders. Coming from a tech IT background, I can tell you stakeholders is anyone who holds a stake in the certain project or product or whatever that you may be working on. And that's pretty much everyone that will be part of the meeting is called a stakeholder. So everyone has an invested interest in the outcome of the meeting and the overall project, right? Their interest, the the team's interest, and so on. So during the meetings, number one is time probably will go by a bit slower. Okay, time will move a bit slower because you're not supposed to be checking your phone or your computer for that matter. Okay, and you're supposed to give undivided attention to whomever is speaking. There's a host, if there's a speaker, if there's a presentation, or even if it's a Teams call, online call, and someone is going through some workflow process, whatever. So now online is a bit different. Okay, a lot of people may not see you like on a camera visually, so you can kind of get away with more, if we're being honest, on an online meeting. But face-to-face meetings, there's no escape. You are in person, you are there, you are present with the fellow attendees, and there's definitely going to be a hierarchy, and there will be people who are above you. There will be people who are below. Maybe you may be above in seniority, and then there's going to be your peers and colleagues, right? Everyone's your colleague, but your peers, so to speak. So yeah, and in these meetings, I was just in a big corporate meeting today, and it just had me thinking. Um, when you're in the bigger team meetings, right? And I mean like the entire departments, right? Quarterly meetings, right? Annual meetings, if there is any. And you have folks from other states or cities or countries flying in who are on the really high level of this company, right? vice president or, whatever, operational manager, what have you. So everyone involved will be focused on this presentation, and especially if it's I'll be honest, it's going to be a PowerPoint presentation for the most part. People are still using PowerPoint, and honestly, Microsoft, one of their greatest inventions, because it has been the presentation template for throughout the time it's been in our lives, and that was when I was in grade school. PowerPoint was there, so yeah, it'll be some kind of a presentation, and even if it's not PowerPoint, it'll be something else, and maybe a demonstration and a speaker going through many points and overall objectives, goals, what have you, right? So, number one, you're gonna have to pretend like you're interested, even if you're not. Okay, even if you're not, you gotta pretend like you're interested, and you definitely gotta be looking straight ahead, looking at the host or the presentation or both, right? And you have to you're gonna want to match the energy, right? Sometimes they want you to be more the crowd to be engaged. They want the audience to be engaged. They want people to ask questions directly or stand up or maybe be part of some sort of a experiment, or whatever the speaker is saying. If he says everyone stand up and do this for whatever purpose, the audience will need to do that, and you need to do that. If you're the only one sitting down, everyone's standing up, you actually stand out like a sore thumb. If I learn anything in corporate, you definitely don't want to stand out. Which reminds me of a saying. It's like the I don't know, the loose wheel gets the grease, or the nail gets the hammer. You know what I'm saying? The open nail, what have you. So, yeah. Now your attention will drift. Okay, I'll be honest. Especially in this younger generation with TikTok and everything, most of us have like no more attention span thanks to our devices. But most likely you will not be allowed, or you should not be on your device at all unless it's really for a really important specific reason. And so your attention will drift, and in that case you're going to have to find a way to get your attention back. Okay, and I'll be honest, I will be watching a presentation and be glued to the screen or the speaker, whomever, and in my mind I'll be thinking of something totally different. I'll be zoned out in my mind, but I'll be looking like I'm attentive, right? Kind of, you can kind of say fake it till you make it, but I digress. You're gonna still have to pretend, and honestly, if it's a meeting like that you're engaged in, like for me, many times I'm presenting during a meeting. We're doing a work. We're solving problems. We're going through a process. We're identifying areas of improvement, right? We're asking questions. We're defining what we're trying to do. That's all part of my job as a tech analyst. And obviously, you're engaged if you're actually part of said meeting. Like you are actually one of the big factors, and you're one of the most engaged. So you're already part of it, which means you have to be mentally and emotionally engaged. You can't be mentally unchecked out, right? But in meetings where like they're presenting to a wider audience, and they're displaying and presenting to maybe 50 plus people, 100 plus people, there's no way, there's very less likely that you will be engaged at all in a discussion or whatever. So more than likely your attention will waver. Okay, so you simply need to just pretend and act like you care, act like you're, just nod your head and smile, and it's like, oh wow, and just do as the audience does, clap when they clap, laugh when they laugh. At the end of the day, it's just your job, right? Remember, you're getting paid to sit down and pretend to care. you're also getting paid to perform and do your job correctly and provide value to your whatever company and in whichever capacity you're doing, right? But in that meeting, if you're part of major meetings like that, especially if they go for an hour plus, you're being paid to just be part of that meeting, right? So you just, at least the least you could do is pretend like you care, right? Um, the worst thing you can do is actively check out and be on your phone or be outside or more, longer than a quick bathroom trip or something, or disrupt the meeting. For sure, anything you do, do not disrupt the meeting. There are some freaking idiots with their phones are going off multiple times, and I don't know how big of a dumbass you have to be in 2025 for your phone to not be on silent. And I don't care if you were late or whatever, or you never have it on silent. Like, there is no excuse, okay, to not have your phone on silent or vibrate where it's not disturbing everyone. You're an idiot if your phone is going off in the meeting. The once or twice ever, once is acceptable, twice is okay, you're pushing it. It should absolutely never happen more than that, ever. Okay, I'm letting you know. In no meetings in your whole work career life should people hear your phone going off. Okay, your device going off. Um, are there occasions, special occasions, where people's phone does need to ring for emergency or something? Sure, yes, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the in general overall time, and your phone. No one should hear your device go off, and that's a huge disruption. There's some idiots in the meeting I was in today, two or three times going off loudly, and I know it's not mine. Mine's always on vibrate. I'm not dumb. I on iPhone I set to work mode or do not disturb mode, right? So even if it's not on vibrate, you wouldn't hear it. But that dummy that had his phone go off does not look good in the meeting. Okay, now his job is probably safe for now. He may get a talk to from his superior or something, but that's just like, I know common sense isn't common, fine, but it's logic. uh, in 21st century, like if you're in a quiet library or somewhere where you're supposed to be quiet, there's no reason. Um, are is some phones gonna go off in audience settings? Yes. Uh, should it go off for the same person more than once without him looking like a dumbass? No. If it goes off more than once, people can hear it in the same exact meeting or conference or whatever. You're an idiot. You are an idiot if that happens. I don't care. Sorry. So, yeah, phones on vibrate, do not disturb mode. Okay, especially in meetings, you do not cause a disruption in that meeting. Obviously, engage with your speaker as it sees fit. Ask pertinent questions. Really think about your questions. Okay, ask knowledgeable questions. It's better to really just not talk or not ask questions at all. Um, but in the corporate world, people don't want to be seen as like lesser or unknowledgeable or incompetent or anything, right? Um, Typically, the higher level you are, the more advanced in your career, you can ask more very specific and thought out questions that are directly related to topic and business. But you can let your superiors handle that one. You yourself don't need to. But I will say, typically, it does make someone seem more intelligent if they ask not super basic, high level questions, but very in depth questions that presents like a challenge to the speaker. So the next thing is how to handle stress, which is extremely important, not just in work but in life. Okay, but this is specifically for work, right? So now in probably smaller meetings, or it could be even one-on-one with a superior or a boss. So everyone's going to have a little bit of anxiety. Okay? Everyone's going to feel anxious to a degree. We're human, and that is just normal, because when your job is on at stake, your performance, your income, right? Uh, it's 100% natural to feel nervous and anxious just like in school before, and I remember way back when being super nervous before a project, a presentation, a speech you had to give in speech class, probably the most nerve-wracking, right? But the same thing is true in work, in corporate life. Stress is there. There are ways to handle it that is way better, that has proven to be more effective than others that I found. Number one is, first and foremost, deep breaths. Okay? Just deep breaths in and out. Um, One thing that really tends to work with me to help me relax more is called box breathing. So count to 4 or 5, breathe in, hold for 5 seconds, and then breathe out. That's called box breathing. Or just typical 5 deep breaths in general. Make sure you do it very calmly and just deep breath in, hold, deep breath out, and breathe in through your nose if you can. And breathe out through your mouth is better. And that'll reduce a lot of anxiety, and it should slowly reduce your heart rate, especially if it was been elevated because of nervousness or anxiety. I know because that's happened to me 100 times, okay, in my life. So that's one thing. That's in the moment, of course. Second thing is, if you're stressed at work because you're trying to make deadlines, or your performance reviews up, or whatever, right? Whatever the case may be, um, you got to take breaks, and that means taking a walk, preferably outside under the sun. Okay, taking a walk has proven to release like dopamine and improve your mood and release stress. So take a walk if it can be 5-10 minutes without interrupting your day or your work, um, once or twice a day, right, throughout the work day. So highly recommend that. Um, so sometimes it's your colleagues that might get under your skin. You know what I mean? And colleagues like to play games and like to have backhanded compliments, or indirect kind of way of communication. But remember, they're not actually your friends; they're your colleagues. That being said, you want to have a very good, positive relationship with your colleagues because you are working with them pretty much every day for a long time. So you have to foster positive relationships, but that's coming. Um, when you're faced with a situation that you're feeling emotional, right? It's And trust me, I've been there. My own colleagues have done this, and I've actually seen them try to like purposely try to which reminds me of something. Purposely try to um how can you call it? Criticize and put down work I've done. For sure. 100%. They're playing games too. They know if they can criticize your work and purposely bring you down, that'll bring down your morale, and that'll make you feel bad, and that'll make them look better. Now, not everyone's like that. That is very toxic behavior for sure, and unfortunately, many corporates structures allow this toxic behavior to put others down or whatever. But anyway, big four. But if you see that happening, if you see others actually purposefully trying to put you down, or the work you've done down, or not really provide solutions at all, and just try to, their whole purpose is to just like negate what you've done, or criticize everything you do, the best thing is not to take it emotionally, okay? Or sorry, not to take it personally. Definitely don't respond emotionally if at all possible, okay? The best thing to possibly do is to take it in and say, I appreciate your feedback, okay? And I'll follow up here, and we will circle back on this issue, and thank you for your feedback, okay? If you don't react emotionally, you're actually putting yourself at a higher level than them, and you're gonna make them look dumb because their whole goal and effort, if it was to make you look bad, has just failed. So you will come out better if you don't react emotionally, even if you feel it. Even if you feel it, don't let them know. Don't let them get the satisfaction. And not taking things personally in corporate, because honestly, when you go home, they're going to forget. You're going to forget after a day or two. And everyone's going to move on anyway because it's just work. But now, when you're boss or supervisor, that's a little different story, okay? And um, because you uh, their view of yourself and your performance is very important, because your job does depend on it. So um, at the same time, like, you have to kind of kiss their ass, right? It's still kissing their ass to an extent. It's still putting them in a higher praise. In fact, oh my God, there's one of the 48 Laws of Power. Amazing book, highly recommend if you haven't read. One of the laws is never outshine your superiors. Never. 100%. If you're a superior, if you have a supervisor, superior, or a manager, whomever, and if you, by virtue of you being competent and good at your job, make them look bad, that is never going to look good on you. It's going to hurt you. The best thing to do is back them up, make them look better at your expense, and in their eyes, you'll look good. They'll be happy, and you will look good in their eyes as well. And Robert Greene goes into amazing detail of historically speaking of that lesson, of that rule. So yeah, make your superiors look better. But anyway, in feedbacks, in one-on-one meetings and performance reviews, they're gonna give you're probably gonna feel bad, because they're gonna give you things to work on, and you may take offense to it, you may disagree with them entirely, but you know what, that is normal reaction. However, the best thing to do is say, I will take this feedback and work on that, and we'll be following up here on future steps and work on an improvement. Okay, you have to play the game, right? Unfortunately, it's a game, and once you understand the moves you can make, that's how you can play the game for you to win. And what is winning is keeping your job, is extending how long you're working, and definitely promotions and that sort of thing as well. That's definitely winning, but in this day and age, it's harder to do that. But honestly, maintaining your job as long as humanly possible is winning, because I look at it as just my source of income and source of financing my life, right? So that's winning, by just extending how long you're working with them, and how long you provide value and they keep you, right? So that's the first thing, and then you could say promotions and next step in your career. So this goes to hierarchy. Next thing, we kind of established that there's always hierarchy. The whole corporate structure is hierarchy based. Okay, it's a pyramid structure with the CEO at the top, and so etc. and the regular worker in the bottom. It's a pyramid structure. You can look it up. It's always been like that, and they say it's the most stable structure, but it's there for a reason. Okay, and let's see. We kind of learned this from a school age, right? The teacher, principal, student, that's a pyramid structure, right? And you're at the bottom. So when you're in the early stages of your career, you're going to have to just kiss up to everyone, every single person, because they probably all are above you in the hierarchy, right? In the very beginning, young people in the first few years, you don't have much choice here. It's a game. Now, maybe the rules have evolved. Maybe they're more welcoming and to ideas and culture shifts and whatever. Sure, that's fine. But the corporate structure that I'm aware of, that has been there for a long ass time, it's still a pyramid structure where um, everyone is everyone can be replaced. And God, don't even get me started with AI coming up. But everyone can be replaced, and it's still a hierarchy where the CEO is still at the top, and technically anyone below him and can be fired and let go for whatever reason, right? I mean, just look up layoffs happening every quarter or what have you by major companies. That happens, okay? So yeah, the structure is there, the hierarchy is still there. But that being said, don't hyper fixate on the hierarchy. Okay, who is your supervisors? Who is your colleagues or whatever? Just understand that it's there, and just act accordingly, according to where your hierarchy level is. Fostering relationships and finding common ground. I'd say fostering relationships is one of the best things you can do in your career, especially in your corporate career. Okay, building relationships and building bridges can go really far. Okay, it's only gonna take you further in your career, and for those of you planning to have long careers, and yeah, you never know where it could take you, because one relationship today could lead to opportunity 5 years from now, or later. Many people, many colleagues I know have worked together for 10 plus years and maintained great relationships, and improved, and found opportunities with others, and worked with people at different companies, and work together now. So yeah, you never know where it could take you in your life and your career. So it's really important to build bridges. Okay, do not, whatever you do, do not burn them, if you can. Now, when people move on in their career, different opportunities or whatever, most relationships will slowly phase away anyway. But fostering and building relationships is very important, because you never know where it could take you. And not only that, people shoot the shit all the time. People just say, "How's your weekend?" Right? What are you up to? People are gonna talk about their personal life. People getting married. People, having children. People's kids doing this and that, of different ages. Single people, people traveling, etc. So that's just basic date office talk, and this perfectly fine, right? And especially when you find common ground, like, you like the same team as someone, you like the same sports, you like traveling, or you like movies or whatever. And at my office, we have a ping pong table, so we dedicate some time to playing ping pong with different colleagues and improving our game, and etc. That's fun. So yeah, building bridges and relationships can get you far. And now, of course, we got LinkedIn, we got social media. So everyone has, I'm sure everyone has LinkedIn profile by now, so you can add to your contact and keep in touch, and maybe in the future it could lead you somewhere, right? So building bridges is hard, but it's very smart, and burning bridges is easy, but it's very dumb. Now, on with your specific peers and work groups, like whom you engage with and work with on a daily basis, um, there's going to be disagreements. People are going to argue. People are going to disagree on how to solve the problem, or what the problem is. That's the main thing. Identifying and agreeing on what this qualifies as problem, within the scope of what you're trying to do, whether it's HR, marketing, or tech. That's probably the biggest, most ongoing conversation. The best thing is be solution oriented, and figure out what can be solution. And if other people on a meeting or on a discussion are going back and forth on what they determine is solution or whatever, I would not recommend getting into that. I would just say, let them have it. Let them go back and forth, and just say, if I understand correctly, we agree on this and we don't agree on that. Did I accurately describe that? And then figure out where the gap is. It's called gap analysis. I will. And from there, you can, I would say, identify potential solutions and describe that, and let the team come up with that on their own. Okay. Focus on solutions and completing the tasks. You'll be assigned your own task, right? So that's what you're concerned about, is performing your part and your task on project, right? I'm a tech analyst. I can talk about that later. Business analyst, and describing requirements, creating items and stories, and completing developmental tasks is part of what we do. And so I'm responsible for that aspect. But other team members are responsible for different aspects: software, coding, architecture, APIs, database, whatever. A lot of things involved in tech there. So they're gonna have their own conversation and their own disagreements, whatever, and that's on them. It's not necessarily always on yourself. So I would only chime in if it directly involves you in the work you're doing in the deliverables you're producing. Okay. All right. All right. We already hit the half hour mark. That's pretty cool. So, in the office, people are gonna talk. Okay, when you're working at your desk or whatever. So, for me, that's disruptive. That's distracting when other people are talking. I can't really focus. So, I'll just put headphones on and I'll tune it out with music or whatever I want to. You can, as of now, I believe you can still listen to music or whatever you want in your headphones while you're working, unless someone needs your attention, someone needs to discuss something with you or whatever. I believe you're still allowed to have your headphones on while you work. So I highly recommend that to block out noise. It's very important to have the ability to adapt and to change to circumstances when circumstances and changes and targets move or whatever. So it's very important to have the ability to adapt, right? Project deadlines, timelines, whatever. Extremely important. Remember, we always talked about this. Everyone is replaceable, but the lower level you are in the corporate structure, the more faster you can be replaced. Don't hyperfixate on that. It's just a fact. Getting over that and focusing on your end and performing the best you can is the best thing we can do. And yeah, that's pretty much all. Job security is kind of no longer a thing. I don't believe it's real. AI is coming. AI is here. Okay. I think we're all aware of that. I keep making content about the AI thing. That shouldn't scare someone from performing in their job or in their company or focus on their career goals or something. Just understand that it's here and how can we adapt to it. Adaptation again. And the future is constantly, changing and evolving, right? I mean, hell, we didn't even have internet and Teams calls 20 years ago or Skype calls or none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So everything's changed and we're a product of the times and so forth. So yeah. Hopefully these can help you guys remember you're part of the game no matter what. It pretty much in anywhere in life, but definitely in the workplace. And I really am talking about the corporate structure that most companies operate under. Okay, if you find yourself working for them, you can bet that one or if not all of the above will apply. Okay, sitting in meetings that you may find boring, you're not interested or engaged with, but you have to be part of. That's one of them. Stress being induced by either your colleagues or your boss or deadlines or whatever, that is being part of it and how to handle it. That there is a existing hierarchy, okay, within the workplace, whether you are below or somewhere in the middle or something, you're still in the hierarchy. And fostering relationships, finding common ground with your colleagues and peers, it'll help the time go by, and it'll have positive benefits and outcomes in the future. So I think that's good for today. So that's some professional advice to the younger generation and everyone listening. If you like this podcast, please hit the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe and comment below for more. Do you have any other professional advice for young people, please comment below. With that, this is Mosh, and remember, it's just some perspective.